Well, good Erev Shabbos. Here we are again. And again, if someone can just let me know, those who are watching on YouTube and Facebook, that the sound is good, I'll keep watching for the comments. But before we begin, I want to remind everyone again that the all our sessions, the new sessions, are found on jewishcenter.info, not rabbi, jewishcenter.info/Rabbi Shem Tov. And if you always check in here every Friday, Sunday, and Wednesday, you will find the latest links and the newest links to the most recent classes. And afterwards, you will find links to the recordings. So you can always go on jewishcenter.info /Rabbi Shem Tov. And of course, for all our virtual classes by all the staff of Lubavitch of Bucks County, you can go jewishcenter.info /virtual. And you'll always be up to date with so much going on, and lots are going on. Just wait till what you see what we have in store for Hanukkah. Once again, to allow everyone to be comfortable with it. Let me check the comments. Sounds good. So everybody can be comfortable in person, out in person, or at home. It'll be an outdoor event, and we actually have a project that could come to your home. So stay tuned for all our Hanukkah activities as well as everything else. One more time at jewishcenter.info /virtual. So, my dear friends, Shabbos is such a beautiful gift. Shabbos is a gift that allows us to step back and reflect. And as big as a gift of Shabbos is also the gift of our Torah. It's also the gift of the great wisdom that Hashem has given us to be able to really find insight in timely messages from the timeless stories. And I want to start with a little joke, as we always do. So we have this fellow Nathan, who in the good old days would commute to New York, and he would arrive at Penn Station, come late, come on time. You know, all those Bucks County commuters that have to make it to New York. One day he comes a little early to Penn Station, and there's this very state-of-the-art, sophisticated machine. And this machine is actually a scale. So you go onto this machine, you weigh yourself, and it tells you everything you need to know, sometimes too much. Nathan says, wow, this looks cool, takes a buck, puts it in, and all of a sudden the screen, the machine, I guess, prints out. He says, you weigh 160 pounds and you are Jewish. Nathan looks back. Wow, 160 pounds, I understand. How does he know I'm Jewish? He says, I got to try this again. Takes another dollar out of his pocket, puts it into the machine, into this sophisticated scale, and out comes the message. You're 160 pounds, you are Jewish, and you're waiting for your 7:35 a.m. train to take you to work. This blew him away. My weight, my religion, my job, exactly what I'm doing. He says, I'm going to fix this machine. He goes right back to the men's room, takes off his jacket, ruffles his hair, puts on a dark pair of sunglasses, gets a couple Band-Aids, puts it onto his face, and he goes right up to the machine. About 7 minutes later, puts in another dollar. And the machine says, you're still Jewish, you still weigh 160 pounds, but you're also a shlemazel because you just missed your train. And my friends, so much goes on in our life that sometimes we just miss it. We miss the message. We get so caught up by what is going on in front of us that we can't even internalize what the internal message that's really taking place. You can be at a party and you get so caught up in a conversation and you miss all the joy. Or sometimes, on the contrary, you are going to pay a shiva call, a sad situation, you meet a friend, you see the food, you forget what you're even there for. So much in our life is a reaction to external stimuli. And in reality, for us to be able to really take things to internalize them, we have to sometimes look at other things beyond what we just see. And this is something that comes across in a very poignant way, in a very critical moment in the portion of the Torah that we read, the portion of Toldot. One of the featured stories of Parsha Toldot is how Isaac is giving a blessing to his children, Jacob and Esau. And I'm going to focus on one word, one verse. It introduces the story of how Isaac wanted to bless his son Esau. And just in one sentence, Isaac's son Jacob was seen as the righteous. Everyone saw his righteousness. His son Esau, everyone saw as a shyster, as a terrible person, an evil person, in fact. And here, Jacob's about to give his son Esau a blessing of something special and unique, when it would appear that he should be giving it to his son Jacob. But this is how the Torah introduces Isaac at that moment, and says that it was when Isaac was old and his eyes dimmed from seeing, as he has become blind, and therefore his sight has diminished considerably. And his sight has diminished considerably. So, and then it introduces that after telling us that he couldn't see well, that he wanted to give a blessing to his son Esau. Now here's the question. Why would the Torah want to introduce Isaac as giving the blessing to his son Esau that he was blind? Is the Torah just trying to tell us that since he was blind, he was a little bit senile as well, and he didn't, because he couldn't see, therefore he didn't realize that it shouldn't be Esau that's getting the blessing. It should be Jacob? Is that the way the Torah wants to give us an introduction into the insight of our patriarch Isaac? We don't know that Isaac knew very well who his son Esau was. Because sometimes you don't have to see someone to know that they're misbehaving. You can tell from their action, from their communication, how they speak to you. You can pick up the vibes of a person. And certainly a spiritual person with a spiritual soul like that of Isaac certainly picked up the signals of Esau's evil ways. So what is the purpose of telling us, in a sense, a derogatory comment about Isaac that he couldn't see anymore? So he kind of almost lost it a little bit, and that's why he was giving a blessing in a misplaced situation. And my friends, in this episode lays a critical message for all times, and particularly for our times now. I want to spend a moment and talk about the eyes closed, or the inability for Isaac to see his son Esau because his eyesight was diminished. It's not only there, but we find something very interesting in Jewish practice, that at some of the most critical points and moments of life and prayer, we are instructed to keep our eyes closed. We all know the Shema. How do you say the Shema? Shema Yisrael, right? You cover your eyes with your hand. That is the most important declaration of faith, one of the most important statements of a Jewish person while they're alive in this world. Why close your eyes? We've all been to a Jewish chuppah, and we know what happens, that the bride is escorted to the chuppah with a veil, with a covering. Now, there's different customs, how thick that veil is, but traditionally, it was a veil where the bride cannot see through. Why? Why at that holiest, greatest moment, the most joyful moment, when a husband is marrying his wife and joining into this union of marriage, you say that they shouldn't be seeing each other until after the ceremony? Another very important time, when Shabbat comes, the Jewish woman lights the Shabbos candles. What does she do before she lights the candles? At that very holy moment where you transition from the mundane, from the weekday into the holiness of Shabbat, what do? You close your eyes. You cover your eyes. What is this covering your eyes all about? And the answer is very simple. When a person covers their eyes, it could be for two reasons. The first reason is because they want to shut themselves off and keep a distance from what they see. Another reason is because the person wants to go beyond what they see, not be distracted by the most superficial level of what they're engaging with, but on the deepest level, that could sometimes be distracted by visual sight. So when we say the Shema, what we're saying is God is one with his creation. So why do we close our eyes? Not because we are cutting ourselves off of creation, because we're looking into the depth of creation. What we see with our physical eyes is merely the physical external reality of reality. We close our eyes to realize that the depth of that reality in the world we live in is one with its creator. When a husband marries his wife, what's important at that holiest moment is not to be distracted by the external beauty, but to be connected to the deeper sense of who this person really is. How many marriages are created because of external reasons and not because of a deep appreciation and bond on a soulful level? So we close our eyes so that we can focus on the deeper internal aspects of this. The same thing is with Shabbat. Shabbat is gorgeous, beautiful table set, beautiful food, delicious food. Everyone's going to come around the Shabbat table. It's important to realize and remember at that moment that Shabbat is not just about the delicious food, but it's about the deeper connection to your creator and to yourself. And this is what happened with Isaac. Everyone saw Esau, but Isaac saw what people didn't see. What everyone saw visually was a wicked, evil shyster, terrible person. But Isaac's vision, his physical vision was diminished. And because he was able to see the deeper soul of Esau, not what Esau was actually, but what his potential, what he was capable of being, is precisely why he gave him the blessing. So the Torah tells us many times, when you see a person, don't get distracted by what may appear to be an outer layer of negativity. Look at the person for what they truly are. And when you see the person for what they truly are, you will allow that person to find blessing in their life and bring blessing to every person around them. And that's a very, very important message. Who are the ones that are capable of doing that? A good parent, a good spouse, a good teacher who sometimes sees their child, their spouse, or their student as maybe not doing things that are appropriate or maybe not behaving the way they should. So instead of focusing on that external behavior of the person, a loving parent sees the beauty of their child and tries to bring out the best to overcome the hardship. A good teacher is a teacher who looks in the student not for their visible and apparent success, but the potential that they have, and may overlook their shortcomings and bring out the best of who they are. And so it is in our lives. We have to always look beyond. Close your eyes so you can look deeper, not close your eyes so you can look away. That becomes the important message of the story of Isaac and his wanting to bless Esau. And I want to conclude with a nice little story I heard recently, as well with a very important message for our times. A young teacher in Jerusalem goes searching for his childhood teacher, for his second grade teacher. And he goes through the streets of Jerusalem and finally finds the apartment, the house where his second grade teacher lives. And he knocks on the door. Teacher sees him, says, "And who are you?" Says, "I am Moshe. Moshe, you remember I was in your second grade class and I was a little troublemaker?" Teacher says, "I don't remember, but what comes here? Why are you here?" He says, "Because now I'm a teacher. And the only reason I became a teacher was because of you. And I want to thank you." And the senior teacher looks at him and says, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Because I remember there was a particular thing that happened in our class. Herschel, we'll call him, came to school with a very expensive watch that he just got for Hanukkah. He wanted to show off. And because during class he took it off, everybody went out to recess. And when they came back to recess, the watch wasn't there. Someone stole Herschel's watch. And this is what you did. You didn't want to embarrass the one who took it. So you told everyone to stand with their face towards the wall, and you checked everyone's pocket until you found the watch and gave it back to Herschel. And that amazed me. But what amazed me more, my dear teacher, was that I was the one who stole that watch. And I know you didn't want to embarrass me in front of my peers. Well, why didn't you ever call me out, meet with my parents, try to correct my ways so I don't do that again? And the teacher says, do you think I knew that you were the one that stole it? Just like I asked everyone else to turn around and close their eyes, I closed my eyes as well. And I had no idea who took it. When I felt it in the pocket, the student gave it back to me, and then later I opened my eyes. That's a teacher. That's what happens when you close your eyes and do not want to look at the negativity, but only want to bring out the positive. And this is a very, very important message in our times. You know, if I, in the future, whenever you hear the words 2020, what's going to come to your mind? I know, we all know. And probably we don't want to know, and we can't wait till it's 2021. But prior to this year, when you would say 2020, what would come to your mind? Perfect vision. Perfect vision is 2020. So now 2020, instead of being perfect, is now become associated with probably the opposite, an extremely negative situation and time in our life. So this is my inspiration to myself, and I want to share with you from this week's portion. 2020 should always remain perfect vision. And we use our vision to sometimes close our eyes to the external negativity of this year and try to look deeper into the blessings of this year. Because as we mention all the time, we all have blessings. And we should never allow the negativity to overshadow the positive. Let 2020 always be looked back on as something that appeared to be negative. But I decided to close my eyes to the negativity, like Isaac did to his son Esau, and see the promise and the potential, and understand the good things that come out. And it may take a year, it may take 2 years, it may take a week, and maybe you already figured it out. But there's definitely something very special that 2020 will always remain a turning point and a pivot to some of the greatest things in our life. See, we read a parsha today about vision. It's important for us to clarify and to enhance our vision in a healthy and appropriate manner. I want to wish you all a good Shabbos. Spend some time reflecting on the story. Spend some time reflecting on your story. And if anybody wants to wish the community good Shabbos, as we always do now recently, you can post it on your Facebook or on your YouTube. Okay, those are the two channels you're watching. If it comes through on my program on time, I'll post it. In the meantime, let me make our regular announcements. Always check. Whoops, what happened to that? Go here. No, here. Yeah. There you go. Always check jewishcenter.info/Rabbi Shem Tov, so you know when we're speaking on Friday, Sunday, and Wednesday. And then just change that / to virtual, and you'll have all our programs that are taking place throughout the week and throughout the year. I have a few good Shabbos. Hi, Claire. Claire is wishing everyone a good Shabbos. Arlene, good Shabbos, everyone. Good Shabbos to you. Okay, I think those are the only ones that came through. So, no, one more. Susan, there you are. Susan Cohen, Shabbat Shalom to all. Thank you. My pleasure. And hopefully we can do this many more times. Mara, Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi, and everyone. Shabbat Shalom to you. Eli, good Shabbos. Refuah Shalema. And hopefully we'll get to see each other in person soon. as soon as we can. Hang in there. Remember 2020. Remember 2020 as a year of growth, a year of greatness, and a year of wonderful opportunity. Good job.